Oh, okay. They need to make that countdown longer. We're Black women now. We gotta. We need some more
We gotta
time.
get it together.
That 30 seconds go fast. We need like 5 minutes. I think we can
Yes.
extend the timer. I just gotta figure that. I gotta figure out how to do that. Hello, everybody. Hey, we're here. We're here. We have
Woo-hoo.
arrived to season
We are here.
2.
Yes.
Season 2. Yes, girl. Girl, let's give each other a virtual hug, girl. We did it.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
We are
Uh,
here.
yes. We're like the original Red Table Talk, really. We started
Yes.
before, oh,
Absolutely.
girl, there. Not hating on you, Sister Jada, girl. You want us on your show, girl? We'll
Come
fly
on.
out, honey. We'll be
Come
there
on.
like,
I
girl, let me.
declare that. I declare that in Jesus' name. That's gonna happen. Boom.
I touch and agree too. So no shade, no shade.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you everybody for hopping on. Thank you everybody for joining us for this evening. If you guys never seen us before, it's my name is Letitia Campbell. Got my girl over here, Tawanta Davis Jones. We are the originators, the founders of the Sister to Sister Connection talk show. And we're in season 2. This is season 2, episode 1. We have a deep, deep, deep conversation. We were not playing this year. We're like, listen, we're going to just jump out with some hard hitting conversation. I think
Yeah.
right now, this is the perfect climate to talk about this. So I'm excited. So thank you. Shout out to all of our live viewers. If you're watching this on the replay, type in #replay. I got Shoshana Cuevas in the chat in the building. What's the tea? We had Shoshana on our season 1 show. We would love to have you back, Mama. Girl, if you want to come on this panel tonight, Shoshana, let me know and I will block your DM. Yes, come on because I know you have a lot to say about this topic as well. I see Classy Brown in the chat. Those of y'all who are watching, do us a quick favor. Let us know where you're tuning in from because we do have people who have watched this show from all over the world. So we have an amazing, deep topic to talk to you guys about today: sister versus sister.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Yes, and we're gonna jump right in. So let me just pre-frame this conversation real quick. This particular conversation is about us coming up with solutions to the problem that we have as Black women. A lot of us as Black women, we feel that we're in competition with each other.
Yeah.
We feel resentment against each other. I know several times people have said, I've seen Black women say, oh, I don't work with other Black girls because they have attitudes, they have this issue, they have that, and things like that. And we want to stop that because we should be working together. We should be collaborating with each other. We should be loving on each other.
Yeah.
Especially now, right, Tawanta?
Absolutely. This is the most sensitive, fragile, time of year, even though we are into a new year, but yet the problems are still here. And we need to really start building this unity, this sisterhood more than ever to help us get through the challenges that we're dealing with and even those that is to come.
Absolutely. And I've been doing a lot of research before we actually spoke about this, and it really alarmed me to realize that there has been a huge sense of distrust. I'm sorry, my kids. There has been a huge sense of distrust with amongst us as Black women, and for so many different several reasons. It could be position. It could be resentment. It could be betrayal. Right? It could be a lot. It stems from a lot of that, but it is so much. I know, Tawanta, the last time we spoke, we did a live the other day. We even went back to saying this has also stemmed from slavery as well.
Absolutely.
So, like I said, tonight is about just letting you guys know what is the actual solution to this issue, because you should be collaborating with another Black woman. You should be partnering with another Black woman. There should always be conversations that needs to be happening amongst us Black women. So I'm so excited to be talking about this. So Tawanta has 2 questions that she wants to bring to the table. We're both going to answer them. And those of y'all who are watching in the chat, please engage. Let us know what your struggles are. And if you also have a solution, like if someone was to ask you, sit down and interview you and say, what is the one solution that you have that will help Black women work more together? What would that be? And you can state
Yeah.
that in the chat. So go ahead, Tawanta, ask your first question, sis.
Yeah, the first question that I have for you ladies is, do you think that some Black women can be mean to each other?
Mm.
Okay, and I'm gonna say it again. Do you think that some Black women can be mean to each other? And of course, when you're in conversation, we say things to one another, and sometimes we could be nice, nasty. Some people
Mm-hmm.
are like that. They come to you like they really do care, and they want to say something, but they are really saying it in a very nice, nasty, sarcastic way. You know what I mean? Have you ever experienced that? Have you seen that? And if so, definitely share that to the panel, to so we can be able to express you know, um, and talk about it.
Absolutely. Well, if I can add or state my response to that particular um, question is this. My personal, I've been guilty of judging, my Black sisters. I shared that with you guys with that before, where I would be at the grocery store and I would not go if there was a cashier who was Black, a Black cashier,
Mm-hmm.
Black female cashier. I wouldn't go to her line because I had one experience where the cashier had a really, really nasty attitude. And
Mm-hmm.
I just totally took that experience and just generalized it amongst all of us Black women. And it wasn't until I was speaking to another sister of mine, another amazing individual entrepreneur of mine, and I shared with that experience with her, and I said, yeah, I only go on if I'm on the checkout line, I only go on the same line as if it's a Black boy or another nationality,
Yeah.
I go on your line. She
Yeah.
said, Letitia, you really have an issue with yourself.
Mm.
What?
I know, right?
The really problem is not the negative experience you have. You really have an issue with yourself. And since then, I stopped doing that. I stopped saying, you know what, I'm just not going to go on this Black girls cash out line or whatever. And I just started to just eliminate
Mm-hmm.
that negativity and forgave that
Mm-hmm.
person for that negative experience
Mm-hmm.
and still said I'm going to support my sisters no matter what. That happened years and years and years ago, but I
Right.
can definitely much so remember it now. How about you, Tamata?
Well, I would say this. I know it's probably going to turn people's head, but well, first of all, I have not, to my recollection, have not been mean to a African American woman, a beautiful woman,
Mm,
at all, to my
mm,
recollection. But I will say that I have been mean verbally, due to frustration or what have you, to
mm,
my daughters.
mm.
And
Wow.
we tend to not think about our daughters as young women.
Yes.
We
Yes.
don't do that. We
Mm,
look at our kids as kids,
mm-hmm.
right? But we as moms, some of us out there, we have to admit we're guilty because, when we have a bad day or if our kids are not obeying us or, they get a little snap, get a little sassy with the mouth or whatever,
Wow.
or we just have one of those days and just keep it
Mm-hmm.
real. I know I have some of my days.
Yeah.
I will go ahead and say something verbally, mean, but then I have to regret that later on.
Mm-hmm.
Before I would not apologize because I'm like, well, I'm the mother. I
Mm-hmm.
had
Well, that's
to
they
say
go.
what I had to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
But even though I'm the mother, that still doesn't give me the right to disrespect that young woman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we as moms, we have to really be careful and cautious
Mm-hmm.
of what we say and how we say
Mm-hmm.
um, things to our daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because we are the school,
Yeah.
we're the teachers,
Mm-hmm.
we are the mirror, right? So we have to really really be sensitive. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that we allow our kids to jump over us or run over us when it comes to the rules and regulations of the home and honorable and all that stuff. No, I mean, you still lay the law down,
Yeah.
but there's still some respect involved with that. Okay, so yeah, that's me right there. Thank God, I'm getting better at that. I mean, I'm not always like totally just mean to be mean. No, because if they did something wrong, yeah, I will let them know about it.
Mhm.
But sometimes, you have one of those kids. You got one of those kids that just want to try you.
Yeah, they want to test the patience, especially as they grow up and they feel
Yes,
themselves. You know, they get little boobs, they get
exactly.
little hips, they get their periods, and it's just like, okay, girl, you
Yep.
get a little too sassy now. Now,
Yeah.
dang
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. And you try to walk away from it, and you give
Yeah.
them a little bit of space, like but again, they keep on doing it and doing it. Then of course you're gonna just like, what? Look, then you get
Mhm.
street real quick.
Right. And just to go back to the side of the question that you raised up was is a powerful question because you mentioned something called nice nasty. I
Yeah.
call it a lot of times we as black women, we become too cordial with each other. It's
Hmm.
like we see each other in certain spaces, in certain arenas. And I was talking to one of my clients, Rachel, earlier this morning, and I was saying that I'm black like this, not like this.
Right.
Okay.
Hmm.
So me being an entrepreneur and me being a successful entrepreneur, I've been doing this for over 10 years. I've seen other black girls like myself go to the other side. You
Yeah.
know, they change. They're not as humble as they used to be before. They don't want to work with us anymore.
Yeah.
And it gets very, very much like sister versus sister. You're trying to get to the top, but you don't want to bring nobody else
Hmm.
behind you. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want, you may think that those individuals may surpass you, and it's just so much resentment and jealousy. So me personally, as a black woman, I have felt resentment against me from my fellow black female entrepreneurs, and I'm just like, wait a minute, girl, what's going on, right?
Right.
And I'm just gonna be honest. I've been uh, um, done dirty by other black women in the entrepreneurial space, but it goes back
Yeah.
into saying that this is what we do to each other all the time,
Yep.
and we
Oh
have
yeah.
to
Oh
change
yeah.
that. Yeah, we
Oh yeah.
have
That
to
and I
change.
and I agree with you 100% because just thinking back over my life, yeah, I had young women, that were mean to me. And
Hmm.
I haven't done anything to them. You
Hmm.
know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But they just, consider me as a threat,
Yeah.
or they're jealous or what have
Hmm.
you. And I'm like, well, I didn't do anything
Hmm.
or, but yeah, and it hurts. It
It does.
hurts
It
because
does.
it's like you just really just crossing me over here and not even giving me an opportunity to really showcase myself,
Hmm.
and plus you're missing the blessings that I may have for you, just like
That's right.
that you have for me.
Yeah.
You putting
Yeah.
the stars here, you putting this big old wall between us,
Yeah.
and that's what the sisterhood is all about. That we are
Yeah.
supposed to, yeah, bless each other.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
and that needs to happen. That needs to happen more often than
absolutely.
not. Let's go off it. Let's go over to the chat, guys, because this show is absolutely about you guys. So I want to read some of the comments you guys are bringing through. And again, if you have a solution to this virus, this this issue that we have amongst each other as black women, please share it in the comments right now. We'll definitely help someone. So Shoshana Cuevas, we'd love to hear what she has to say. She said so much is the mindset about money, success, victim versus victor mentality. I have a lot to say about that. Mindset, yeah, it has a lot to do with that whole mindset aspect of it. I've always had a great relationship with my mom, always did. Yes, we had our issues and problems, but I think, for me and my sister, I have one sister. I would say, thank God, I only have one sister, but it's me and her would build resentment with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
being sisters. It's just sad. And I even said the example of one time, well, not the example, it's really actual experience where I had a coworker who started out at the bottom level of the company. She worked her way up to director. And
Hmm.
every black girl in the department except me had an issue with her. And I was like, I told her, one day she shared this with me in the office. She broke down crying. I said, listen, the only reason why you're having this issue with all these girls on the staff is because you're black. If you was white, you wouldn't have this issue. But
Hmm.
I felt that because I've seen it when another nationality would come in the room. And it was like, hey, how you doing? It's like, hey, massa, like that. And I
Right.
hated that. What do you feel? How do you feel about Shoshana's comment?
I mean, I agree with what she's saying. I mean, because it's so many different variables in, with women. Oh man, we just we find the one thing, and we just, we just get crazy with it because it's not happening to them. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you see a sister that's doing very well socially, socially, in other words, especially on the social media,
Mm-hmm.
you just look at that and you take it and you get envious of her and you want to
Yeah.
know how
'Cause
she
black
became
girls
so
are not
popular.
supposed to make money. Yeah. I
Yeah,
totally.
I mean, and it's just so and believe it or not, this is really happening. We
It
may not
is.
actually hear about it all the time,
It's
but it is
disgusting.
really, really happening, y'all.
Yeah. I
And
remember one. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I'm just saying. But I mean, because I came across an incident. I think I told you this a while back about,
Mhm.
a YouTube celebrity, well, not like celebrity, but she's celebrity in YouTube, whatever. She's been in the game for a hot minute,
Mhm.
and her viewers basically brought it to her attention about, somebody's been, pretty much stealing, your content.
Oh my gosh.
And she didn't really think anything of it. She like, okay, whatever. But then it became a problem, and then she wanted to know who it was, and then she eventually went to that person's page, and this person is also very well known in the YouTube world as well.
Mhm.
But she just went on ahead, had saw a video of this young lady a while back, and she took the content, her story. She was actually filming a story about herself, and she made that story hers.
Wow.
And so she basically brought it to that person's attention, like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you taking
Mm.
my content instead of whatever? And of course,
Mm.
I think at the time the girl did deny it, but she could not deny it because people
Mhm.
were starting to photocopy, take pictures
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
screenshots and
The gig
stuff.
was up. The gig was up.
Yeah. So basically, at the end of the day, she did apologize, but with that apology, she still did not truly admit her wrongness.
That's right.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's like with Trump. He caught him in the act, but yet he still ain't going to admit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the exaggerated truths that he created.
Exactly.
Girl, and I've experienced is that Shoshana would tell you. Shoshana is always sending me screenshots of people who are like, "Coach, check this out. I think this person is stealing your content." And at this point, I just laugh it off. In the past, I used to
Yeah.
inbox, cuss out, all that stuff, you know.
Right.
Um, but that happens a lot of times. We do, I have
Yeah.
seen sister girls poaching from each other instead of saying, "Girl, can you come on my show? Can you teach my clients, or to
Mm.
make it more of a collaborative?" And we win more when we did that. I remember one time this young lady, she lives all the way out in London, and she asked me to be on her show. So I said, okay. I
Yeah.
was on the show, and basically she allowed me to do that so that way she could poach my people.
Yeah.
And my clients were sending me screenshots of her and her team sending them out messages, getting them into her program. I mean, it was so freaking messy. I
Wow.
felt so violated in that experience, and it did kept me from getting close to my fellow sisters for a long time. But I have to say, guys, those of you who are watching, don't let these few bad apples on in this social media space. Yeah, Shoshana says she remember her child. Listen, I cussed that girl out still, honey. Because me, I tell you, I'm black like this, not like this,
Yeah. Yeah.
honey.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
And Tawanta, you from North, honey. So the
Yeah.
fact that we can't touch the person
I know. I know.
and pull up on them,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's like this social media thing is making a lot of people bold. You know what I
It really, really.
mean? It is, but it's like I said, don't like for all who are watching who have been burned by your fellow sister. Don't generalize it. There's so many of us great sisters out there that really want to work with each other and support each other and what have you. It's just phenomenal. So let's keep going with this to the chat, guys. You guys are saying some great stuff. We got Kyla. I hope I'm
Hey,
saying your name right.
Kyla.
Yes, hey girl. She said, absolutely. I have dealt with this my whole teenhood and time in college, especially now in ministry as an oh girl, I know from elders, black women. And oh, girl, Kyla, we would love to have you on the show one day. I had a client that's in ministry, and she dealt with that as well. I've heard about, a lot of black women are like faking marriages and faking relationships so that they can be more perceived as more honorable within in the ministry community. I know you guys, it's a lot of sisters versus sisters in the ministry realm. What do you think about that, Tawanta?
Oh yeah, I know.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, you see it all the time, and that's been like that for so many years, so many
very
years.
long time.
And it's
Mm,
already a challenge as it is, as a woman of God that's, that's been called into the ministry. Is already a challenge for her, because she's
yeah.
not getting the full respect and the support from her male counterparts,
Hmm.
her male
Hmm.
ministers,
That's
and
right.
then to deal with the women,
Mm,
sisters from the church, to attack, like that. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a heavy weight, but
mm.
your calling, your
Yep.
purpose,
Yep.
God told you what to do.
Yep.
Just do it, and don't
Yeah.
worry about what those people say, because they
Hmm.
did not
Hmm.
create you. God did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you don't, and just like Tisha said, that
Yeah.
don't allow people to rain on you,
Yeah. Rain on your parade.
smother you out. You
Yeah.
have a purpose and a calling,
Hmm.
and you need to honor that and do it
Yeah.
successfully. you know
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just a sad thing,
It
especially
is
in the
sad.
body of
It's
Christ.
disgusting.
It's just a sad thing to hear
Yeah.
that and to see that, but it is happening.
And it might not be as gifted as you are, because it is a gift to be out there in ministry and just empower so many women, and just get them motivated and get them transformed. And you may just be well at delivering it than that next person is. But then it's like, those people who are looking at you with a sense of animosity and jealousy, they really need to say, well, how can I partner with her? And like, even though Tawanta and I do this show, this is our ministry, this show, right? You know, Tawanta's very good at coming up with the topics, because I could be all over the place with the topics, but she's very good at coming up with the topics. And I'm very good at getting all the technical stuff together, right? So
Mhm.
I'm not going to go over into Tawanta's lane, because that's her lane. That's her gift, and she's great at that.
Mhm.
And she's not going to come over to my lane, because my gift is what I do, and that's where I'm great at that. We're not ahead of each other. We're both coming together and gelling. It's like that piece of, you ever seen a puzzle, and the puzzle pieces fit so well together. And it's like when we realize that nobody's ahead of us, nobody's behind us, we just really got to find the right sister to gel with us, right? It just
Right.
makes everything come out so amazing.
Right.
And I think that's what it is. It's like, it's that gelling, the gel.
And
Uh,
yeah, and you have to really, honestly, you have to truly embrace your gift.
mhm,
You got to
mhm.
learn to. There's a thing that I used to say back in the day. We tolerate our gift, but we don't appreciate our gift.
That's right. Amen.
And there's a lot of women out there that are tolerating their gift, but they do not appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
But if they take the time out and not focus on somebody else and focus on themselves and focus on what God has for them, they'll
Mhm.
understand that their gift is just as powerful as that sister's gift that they have been
Exactly.
walking at all day long.
Exactly. And your gift is
Okay.
yours. Your gift is yours. Is unique. It's amazing. And just focus on highlighting that. Um, Kyla also said, I have as well, especially in the Black nonprofit realm.
Wow.
Yes, yes, yes. We're learning a lot tonight, a whole lot tonight. All right, let's get into the more chats here. We got Shoshana said, so let me push the envelope. Why is the other side success? Wait, why is the other side of success bad? Where is the entitlement coming from? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think what Shoshana is alluding to is the fact that, as we as Black women become successful, we want to be the only Black girl in the room. And we're okay with that. Me personally, I have a problem being in certain spaces where I'm the only black woman in the room. I get uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, wait, where are my sisters at? I've been in those spaces where I was the only black female entrepreneur in the room, and that does bother me. But some black girls like that. They
Yeah.
like to be the only black family on the block. They like to be the only black girl in that position. They like that. It doesn't bother them, because then the minute they see another black girl or another black person, whoever, pull up in their neighborhood, pull up in the same department as them or whatever, they're like, wait a minute, what's going on? Now it's going to be either me versus them.
Yeah.
I have it's like that entitlement is like, girl, come on.
Mm.
Malcolm X even said a speech about that one time, and about that, and it was powerful. But what do you think, Tawata?
I just, you know what? Honestly, I think that's falling more into her ego.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
this is just the arrogance of it. That's
Mm-hmm.
basically what it is. And she's being
Mm-hmm.
blinded by that kind of foolishness. And she got to understand that, it's not about you, boo. It's just
Nope.
not.
Nope.
There are other phenomenal women out there that are just as creative and talented and gifted as you are.
Mm-hmm.
And, God has a platform for them just like he has a platform for you. But if you keep on doing what you're doing, your platform will fall down.
Exactly. It go tumbling down. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So we have Kyla said, man, listen, too many times have my work and content been stolen. That's right. I had to
Mm,
get out of that environment. That's true. Sometimes you're in an environment. I've been in coaching communities where
yeah.
everybody was coaching each other's stuff. It was like, come on. Um,
Yeah.
yes, yes. All right.
This
She
is
said,
awesome. This is so awesome. Thank you
yes,
guys
it
for
is.
participating.
Yes, we love this. We truly do. My base is single motherhood and delivering adults that are child sexual abuse survivors. Amazing. That's
Mm.
definitely transformational. Um, I would love to come on. You both are awesome. Okay, let me know. DM me here on Facebook if you want to come on. Any of you guys who want to come on and add to this conversation, please DM me or Tawanta. We will give you the link. Again, this is a solution-based conversation. So yes, we're starting off with talking about the issues, and then we're going to close it out. So if you have a solution to this overall problem, please hop on the panel and let us know what solution you feel that will make this sister versus sister thing. We want to eliminate the sister versus sister and bring it to sister connecting,
Yeah.
sister to sisters connecting. So yeah, DM me or Tawanta and come on the show. We'll give you the link there.
Hmm.
Okay, Tawanta. So what is the second question that you had, sis?
Well, the second question is basically talking about, the reality TV shows that, that's been running rampant for the past years,
Mm,
and of course, we see a lot of our beautiful, sisters out there doing their thing, and they have worked hard, they got where they need to get, and all those things. But when they come together and they start attacking each other and all those things, it kind of just tarnish
mm-hmm,
their success. Or I won't say success, but it kind of tarnishes who they are. You know what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying? So my question is basically, how can we, teach our daughters to
mm,
love and respect each other? Because
mm,
our daughters, especially now that we have been quarantined, have been watching this shows or watching most of those shows. And even before quarantine, I'm pretty sure they have been doing anyway,
mm-hmm.
and they have been pretty much picking out some stuff, copying some things, what they hear on television, what they see on television,
Yeah, they do. They
and they
do.
may not do it directly to you, but they sure, when they're with their posses, with their cliques, with their girlfriends or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
then they go ahead and start showcasing that behavior.
Yeah.
So my question again is, how can we teach our daughters to love and respect each other?
Mm.
Okay, so definitely give me your input on that.
Yeah, let us know in the chat. How can we do that? I know for me personally, it starts off with them loving them, teaching them how to love themselves
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
Um, I have three daughters.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest one, she is now 11,
Mm-hmm.
and I have baby V. She's going to be 4 this year, and then I have Tori Marie. She's going to be 3 months on the 12th. But so my oldest daughter is really stepping into her identity as a woman.
Woo-hoo.
And long story short, she came out to me, that she may be attracted to the same sex. So I was just like, okay, what? I mean, like,
Wow.
it hit me hard. And because let me tell you something, if it was you or anybody else that came to me and said, my daughter may be a lesbian, I would have 1,000 pieces of advice to tell you. But now that it hit home, it kind of hit me hard. So for first and foremost, it didn't hit me hard because listen, I tell my kids all the time, be whoever you want to be. Be with whoever you want to be with, because I will not have DL kids in my household.
Yeah.
Okay? You're not gonna go marry somebody and all of a sudden later on when your kids are all grown and adolescents, you want to come out. Okay.
Right.
You're all about honesty and transparency, and I still feel that at a young age she's feeling herself out as a woman. So a lot of things is she's exploring. But I gave her a pat on her shoulder, like a huge hug, because I said, listen, you're standing up for yourself. Be proud of whoever you are, whoever you want to be with. Be proud. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to allow people to fit you in a box. And I told her that I'm proud of her that she came to me and said something. And it goes to show for me as a mom that she didn't feel scared to come to me, because a lot of parents, you can't come to them and say things like that or even talk about deep stuff, because they get so biblical, or they get so set in their ways and their culture and their religion. I want my kids to come to me about everything. About things that they think I may be embarrassed about, ashamed. Come to me. There's nothing that they can do to make me that disappointed, because they're mine. Like, you guys are my children. All the feelings and emotions you're feeling right now, I felt at one point when I was your age. So I understand. So I rather, if she's going to work through this process of identifying who she is and who she truly want to be with, I'd rather she take me along the process than trust the streets, because you know how the streets are, Tawanda.
Absolutely.
They will teach a child the wrong thing the wrong way, and then that's it. They go down a wrong road forever. And I've seen that so many times with Black women. So I'm in that whole realm of my daughters discovering their identity and their preference. And I'm excited to be a part of that journey with her. I'm really, really am. So for me, it's, letting your daughters know to start off first with loving themselves. And that's and realizing who they are as women. And I feel like a lot of times we lose that part of ourselves as we become moms, as we start working in our careers and stuff like that. So no matter who doesn't accept my daughter for who she chooses to be with, I don't care. I'm her mama, and she's okay with me. So yeah, so that's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We definitely, as moms, because I have two daughters, as you know. I have a 19-year-old, and I soon have a 16-year-old. Her birthday's coming up in a couple of weeks.
Oh,
I know. And
women living in your house, girl.
Yeah, and I've been teaching my daughters ever since they were babies. Hands down, I've been on them ever since, and I've been teaching them how to carry themselves as young ladies, how to take care of their bodies, and not to replicate somebody else. Especially in school. Because in school, it's a world of pressure.
Yes, it is.
For the babies, it is a world of pressure. And I know my oldest daughter at the time, when she was younger, she was not really happy with her looks, she was starting middle school. And we live in a predominantly white community, honestly. And so the schools, of course, are predominantly white kids, whatever. But as time passes on, a lot of diverse families, was starting to come in due to the big three, which is the General Motors, Chrysler, Ford, and whatnot. But at the time when she started middle school, she was really insecure about her looks and stuff. We saw other kids her age coming in looking all pretty, have pretty golden hair and all that stuff, whatever. Stephanie, y'all know Stephanie, she got long hair.
Yes, she's gorgeous.
And plus she wears glasses and everything. And, you know, she was real slim then at the time. And so she just really did not like herself. She didn't
Yeah.
like how she looked. And she just wished she had that same type of popularity like her peers did, you know, because
Yeah.
they look pretty, they dress nice, and this and whatever. And so, of course, I had to talk to her because honestly, I understood where she was coming from too, because
Yeah.
I too had my insecurities as well.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, when I was in middle school, when I definitely was in high school, and I
Yeah.
did not think I was a pretty chocolate something. No, I did not, child. And back in the day, you know, back in the 80s, you know, it was all, if you remember the, what was it, Vanity Six? Remember the group back in the day with Prince and
Yeah.
Apollonia,
Yeah.
Sheila E., all of them back in the day, Janet
Yes.
Jackson. Child, I want to be like them.
Yes.
Okay. And I, you know, I didn't like my skin color. I wanted to bleach my skin. And I went to Fashion Fair. Remember Fashion Fair back in the day? Went to the mall and bought the bleach toner cream.
Yes. Yes,
You know,
girl.
trying to wipe this off.
That used to be behind the register in the beauty supply stores because they
Yes.
used to steal it. They used to steal
Oh, for real?
Yeah, my neighborhood, yeah, absolutely. So they would put it behind the register, so you would have to go into the store and actually, them Koreans were Japanese people were not playing. They were like,
Oh, wow.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I had my insecurities as well. But
Yeah.
you know, I continue to, you know, teach my daughter, you know, first she has to learn herself and learn to love her
Yep.
imperfections.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, that's the key thing that we as parents need to teach our daughters, because we ourselves as women, we have our
That's
imperfections,
right.
you
Yeah.
know, and there's a lot of imperfections that we don't like. You see what we do half the time. We try to cover it up with getting a girdle or whatever we try to
Yeah,
do, and
yeah,
you know, go on crazy diets and stuff to try to lose
yeah.
that extra 20 pounds, or you know, get more hair and all this stuff or
That's right.
whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, it's just too taxing to the body. It's too stressing. You have to start learning how to love you.
That's
That's the
it.
key thing, to learn to love yourself, learn to love your imperfections. As you get older, you know, you start to see yourself differently than how you saw yourself when you was 13, 14 years
Very
old.
true.
Now you're 19, 20 years of age. Now
Yep.
you're really vibing. Now you're like, oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
you know. So I definitely believe in, you know, encouraging young daughters in general, not just my daughters alone, but the village, you know, encouraging them and just letting them know that you are beautiful,
That's
you
right.
are
All the way.
smart, you are talented, you're gifted. Don't try to copycat, you know, what this young girl is doing. You stand in your lane, or you know, or you could get out your lane if you want to, but
Yep.
you still got to know who you are if you cross over that lane.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of it also too, Tawanta, is there's really not a lot of, other than Oprah and a couple of other ladies, there's really not a lot of public like examples of successful, amazing black
Yeah.
women for our daughters to emulate. There is their examples, like you said, are from the Love the Hip Hop and the confrontational reality TV shows and the T channels and the gossip blogs, and they think and assume that that's how we're supposed to conduct. And I really feel that if we change our languaging of how we address each other as black women,
Yeah.
then we can increase the respect amongst each other. Because we even went into, yes, the other day, the words that you shouldn't say to another black woman. And it's the same thing, when it comes to reality TV shows. We've been, in the atmosphere was where it's been okay to call each other bitches and hoes and messy and all those things, and that's just the languaging that this
Yeah.
generation
It has become
needs
the
to come
norm.
to. Yeah, and then when they address us who are more of the older the OGs or whatever, we're like, don't talk to me like that. What?
Absolutely.
Did you just call me
Absolutely.
out my name, girl? You better get yourself together now, or I have to get you together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm worried for this new. I am, because I'm in New York. I do hear how the girls talk to each other, and I know, is too much. It's too disrespectful. It's too much, and I feel like if that's going to be the type of conversations that's going to happen now, I'm afraid for the future. Why?
Absolutely. And it's also happening in via social media as well.
Yeah, my son particularly, when before the shutdowns happened with COVID, he started middle school and he would see how the black girls would talk to each other, and
Yeah.
he'd be like, "Mommy, why do they talk like that?" I was like, it starts off in the home. That's how probably their mama communicates with them. You know what I mean? They don't, like, my daughter knows not to cuss. She knows not to act a certain type of way, because I don't talk to her that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't be up in her face, and I've the stuff I've seen, how moms talk to their daughters these day and age, it just it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk to mama. I've been seeing daughters call their mamas by their first name. I'd be like, what? I never called my mama. I called my mother by her first name. Let me tell you something right now. I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I wouldn't even. I'm grown right now, and I wouldn't go up in my mama's house and say, I can't even say it first. I'm first gonna listen to this and say, girl, I just can't do it. It sounds so ugly. It sounds so.
I know.
No, but I see it all the time, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Girl.
Again, like I said, the community, that's the thing. We need to really, fix that, the community, so we can build that village again, back to the raised in the village.
You are so right. Right.
And how the mamas, the Medeas, and the neighbors, back in the day, they scolded us.
They let me tell you something. Back in the day, in my neighborhood of Westbury, New York, it was okay for another female mom, we call all, when I see like a older person, I do say mom. I say mom to them because it's a sign of respect, so there, it was okay for a neighbor to correct me or go back to my mom and said that I was being too sassy or whatever. These day and age, it's almost like people don't want their children to be corrected or put in their places. It's just
right.
Another issue. It does take a village to want to raise our daughters. It absolutely does. That's why I work so hard to put powerful women who are confident in themselves around my daughters, because they will duplicate what they see. I have some aunts that are like, girl, my family from New Jersey too. They will pop off on you like it's no tomorrow. And I have that in me. I try to suppress that because you can't do that in all type of spaces. People try to push it out of me, but
yeah.
And I tell people don't come at me wrong, because you don't know which aunt is gonna come out. I know. I could be my Aunt Robin. I could be my Aunt Jackie.
And and I'm grateful for those aunties.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Go ahead. Yeah,
church mamas back in the day. I mean, they pull you to the side, and and back in the day, they believed in the switch and everything.
Yes.
Like that. You know what I'm saying? They didn't care. And I spanking like that, but I saw my cousins or my play cousins, get the spanking. I mean. Or if we get, just a little sassy, one of I adopted as my aunt back in the day. I remember that she took me and she whacked my boom boom. She said, "Oh no, you don't. Not in this house.
No, not in this house." Like, okay. Yeah, and you know what I find this day and age to watch, and let me know, since we're talking about our daughters here and the questions about them, but I feel like we need to talk to our daughters more. It's just like,
yeah, absolutely.
You and I have both became more patient with explaining why to our daughters they shouldn't do this or why they shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And it does take more time. It does. I understand, grabbing that, patting them on the butt is quicker to discipline them, but they're still wondering, well, why can't I do that? Why can't, And I do talk to them. And yes, there is, in my personal opinion, there's a positive side, an extremely positive side to talking to your daughters. And there also is a slight negative side, because even with my daughter, I feel that being the fact that I talk to her so much about certain things and situations, she feels internally that she could be opinionated about things that she had no place to be about. And every time I have to pull her aside and say, "Listen, Aurora, I said what I said."
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, get a
Yeah.
little too sassy now. I know I'm giving you an inch, but you're taking the whole yard, Mama. So
There you go. Come on.
and my mom be like, you too lenient with them. You too. I'm like, Mom, come on. Me and my mom both battle all the time
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
my mom's old school child. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, because I was raised by a single parent, honestly.
Yeah.
My mom was, the mom, dad, general, all of that, but she was such a
Mm-hmm.
sweet, sweet person all overall.
Yeah.
But she did lay the law down,
Mm-hmm.
and she did, her best to make sure that I was, make sure I was raised up,
Right. Right.
in a way that won't discredit her,
Mm-hmm.
myself, or what have you. And especially
Mm-hmm.
living in a city of Newark at the time,
Mm-hmm.
where there was a lot of stuff going on, of course, and there's still a lot of stuff going on. But
Yeah. A whole
dealing
lot.
with peer pressure, dealing with
Mm-hmm.
you know, teenage sex and pregnancy and all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff going on and what have you. My mom was like, "Law." She's like, "You better not come home with no baby,
Yeah.
because you gonna take care of that child." Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I was
Yeah.
like, "Yes, ma'am."
Yeah,
I was
and I
sitting
feel
there
like
thinking that.
nowadays, when we as moms become like their friends, those
Oh
things
yeah,
have a higher risk of happening. I
yeah,
feel like there's like, oh, my mom's my best friend, and we go out to the club together. We do this. I'm like, girl, no, no, no.
yeah.
My mom ain't doing that. Didn't do that stuff with me, honey.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
You let me
Yeah,
know.
the
I
mother
ain't your
was not a
friend.
friend. She was the mother.
I'm your
Period.
mama. Okay,
Okay,
don't get
and
it
I thank
twisted.
God for her teaching, and even
Hmm.
and not just my mom, but like I said, the other
Yeah.
my godmother, bless her
Hmm.
soul, and other women at that time of my life
Hmm.
that nurtured me and structured me and disciplined me when needed to,
Hmm.
what have you. And that's where I brought that into my daughters when
Hmm.
they were young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not saying they're perfect, because none of us are perfect by any
Yeah.
means. But I'm grateful that they, truly have taken what I put in them, and they are
Hmm.
applying it, and they are
Hmm.
seeing from other perspectives of how other teenagers their peers are acting.
Acting, yeah. You
You know
did
what
an
I mean?
amazing job with your daughters, you really have, truly and honestly. You even mentioned how they went out there in March. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Doing the I can't even think the man name. Lord forgive me, but you know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Floyd's situation. Yeah,
Yeah.
my daughters just took it upon themselves to actually go out and protest. I didn't tell them to do that.
Hmm.
They basically did it on their own.
Hmm.
And my oldest daughter Stephanie, she's very vocal about justice. Is she's hand strong on that. And she go her and her best friends, they went together and
Hmm.
they went and protest, and they
That's
did a
amazing.
phenomenal job. It was a peaceful protest for both of them, thank the
Hmm.
Lord, because I was praying.
Hmm.
you know but it was a peaceful protest, and I'm glad they did that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, that's
very proud of
powerful.
them, because I've always told them, you stand your truth, speak
That's
your
right.
truth,
All
don't get
right.
intimidated by other people's,
Hmm.
ignorance or whatever. You do what you're supposed to do, and you do it with integrity, and you do it with honesty.
Hmm.
God got your back, because when you
That's
do
right.
right, guess what? God got you.
That's
And he
right.
will and he will cover you at all costs.
Yeah, and it comes back to full circle. And then the fact that
Absolutely.
they're doing what our ancestors have done for generations for our rights and for our privileges, it's just amazing. They're absolute trendsetters, and you've done an amazing job with your daughters. You absolutely.
Oh,
It's not easy raising girls. It's
it's
not. It's
not.
not easy. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm a mother of 5 children, but when I found out that I was gonna have my first daughter, I was just like, oh my god, because I always known that boys are just a little more easier to raise, and you just don't have not so much that it's so much easier to raise, but with us women, we gotta really guard ourselves more. We gotta
We
protect
really do.
our hearts. We gotta
We really do.
guard our mindsets, and it's so hard growing up as a woman. It just is. So I was kind of nervous, but I have to say that, my daughters, your daughters, they're going to be some badass girls. They
Oh,
really, really are some badass women. Look out for them. It's just amazing. And there's times where, I have to sit down with my daughter sometimes and just ask her, well, how you feeling? Or what you're going through and things like that. Because you ever notice in your daughters when their mannerisms and how they act is the same way you acted when you were their age.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to come down and first understand and also be understood at the same time that, I'm your mom,
Yeah.
and tell me how you feel.
Yeah.
So that's just amazing. I mean, we can go on and on about our daughters. And we're going to have several conversations and topics about them because
Yeah.
I know those of y'all who are watching us now, y'all have daughters. So share with us in the chat right now, ladies. How are you teaching your daughters how to have confidence and how to love each other? Which is,
Exactly.
yes, yes. So let's jump into this conversation now of being the fact that the topic tonight is sister versus sisters. Like I said, we want to come up with some concrete solutions for you guys tonight. So, Tawancha, you want to share your solutions first, or do you want me to share mine?
Oh, you can go ahead.
All right, cool. So, when if you ever was sat down and someone asked you, what do you feel the solution is for Black women not having jealousy or animosity or competition with each other? I came up with three, and I'm probably feeling I'm going to come up with more beyond this. But my first way to solve this issue is for us to forgive ourselves first.
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
like I told you guys a couple of lives back, Tawanta and I did the first season of this Sister Connection talk show. I decided to stop doing it, and now we're back doing it again. I had to reach out to Tawanta and say, "Girl, forgive me, for letting you down." That forgiveness thing is so important that if you have ever offended another sister, another Black woman, come to them and say, "Girl, I'm sorry. I was in my own feelings. I
Mm-hmm.
was in my own issues. Maybe some of the advice that you gave me, even though I know it was the right advice, I just got angry because I wanted to do my own thing, or I felt like I was so deep into this situation or deep into this relationship that I couldn't get out." It could be several different things, but forgiveness for me is big. Even if that person doesn't accept it, they say, "Bro, I'm still not going to talk to you. I'm still not going to say anything to you. You hurt me so bad. We hurt
Right.
each other so bad." Still forgive. Still get out there and offer that, and leave that door open. Because sometimes when you are asking for forgiveness, that person may still be going through anger, animosity, so many different things that have not reached that point of forgiveness yet. My second tip is confidence.
Mm-hmm.
It's I was just telling Tawanta before we went live, I was like, you know what? If we walk in a room as Black women and we have self-confidence, there's no way in the world that we will be jealous of each other, that we will have any type of resentment, animosity, competition with each other. Because if you feel that you bring something to the table, right,
Mm-hmm.
you're just bringing something to the table, and you're inviting other women, other Black women, to bring something to the table as well.
Mm-hmm.
So have that confidence within yourself and say, you know what, I'm just as bad as the next girl is, and I'm
Yes.
just as awesome as the next girl is.
Mm-hmm.
And my third point is, and I want to change this a little bit, is communication. And I told Tawana it's a different point, but I wanted to some just came on me to add that in. Communication is so important, guys.
It
I feel
sure
like
is.
we as Black women, we don't communicate with each other how
Mm-hmm.
we're supposed to, and this is why sometimes we misunderstand things, or I feel like somebody needs to hear this, or we take things the wrong way. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're texting back and forth and you feel some type of energy is coming up, call, say, "Girl, I feel like these text messages are getting going a little bit left. So let's talk." Instead of assuming that, that girl has an attitude with you, or that sister is upset with you, or whatever, communicate. And we have a huge gap in issue with communication
Mm-hmm.
amongst each other, right? But I think maybe it's our tone, maybe it's just our delivery, but communication is so important. You know,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I had that on my notes too, believe it or
Oh,
not.
you did? Okay. So we're working in the same vein. Awesome.
Yep, I had that in my notes because that I think that's like the number one issue for a lot of us. We don't talk to each other. We
Hmm.
talk at each other,
Yes. Yes. Very true.
but
Very
we
true.
don't talk to each other
Hmm.
as
Hmm.
we should, you know.
You're right. You're right.
But for me, I have as far as solutions, I say don't think the worst of her, but think the best of her.
Yes. Yes.
Because a lot of times, we see our sister and you see how successful she is, and you see how far she's come, and we go ahead and just assume, you know, like, oh, she thinks she all that. Well, how did she
Mhm.
get to that level? Well,
Mhm.
oh, okay, well, who's that guy? And did that? I
Mhm.
wonder if she
Mhm.
had to, you know, sleep her way to get there. Oh,
Yeah.
you know, she must have cheated or whatever. You know, we
Yeah.
start
Oh.
thinking the worst. And then
Mhm.
when we start thinking the worst, we go ahead and take that same poison and we start to broadcast that information to another sister.
That's
And
right.
here's the thing, she's broken like you broken. So two broke people are causing this successful woman, you know, and you starting to break her
Mhm.
status, break down
Mhm.
her, you know, her identity
That's right.
because of your insecurities and you know and all of the because you don't even know that woman from Adam, and even if you do know her, you don't know who she is now.
You
You may
don't know her
know her
story.
5 years ago, you may
Mhm.
know her 20 years ago, you may know her since childhood or when y'all went
Mhm.
to high school, but honey, listen, she's this 20 years later, 10 years later, she has grown in a
Mhm.
lot of areas in her life, just like you have. But
Yep.
then maybe some people you're still stuck in time, but
Yep.
girlfriend has moved ahead, you
Mhm.
know. So we got to stop thinking, you know, the worst in her and stop, you know, predicting the worst of her, you
That's
know, like,
right.
well,
Yeah.
I hope her business fall. Well, I hope
Mhm.
she, you know, I hope she doesn't, you know, getting married. I hope her marriage fail. You know, all
Oh,
this
oh
other stuff.
God.
I mean, this is what's happening, especially on, you know, in social media more than ever now.
Yep. Yep.
And we just need to do the opposite. If you want people to you know, speak good of you, then and you know
You
how
gotta
that
speak
makes
of
you
that.
feel, and someone just comes to you and say, oh, Letitia, girl, I just think you are such an amazing,
Mhm.
you know, coach, and you just go ahead and do your thing, your makeup is flawless, you got the bomb.com and all that good stuff. That makes her feel good, because you
Yeah.
never know behind the camera how she may have her insecurities sometimes. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you come to her and you just express, you know, to her these positive thoughts. That makes her feel good. So you need to start, you know, converting your language.
Yep.
Okay, you need to just go ahead and start going back into English 101 and start talking, you know, in the positive way. You know, because words are life.
Yes, they
Words have
are.
life. There is a seed. So every time you plant a word in somebody, you know, it's going to affect them.
Mhm.
It's going to affect them. Either it's going to affect them in a good way, it's going to affect them in a bad way. And
Amen.
if it affects them in the bad way, it's a scar.
Mhm.
Because, you know, us sisters, we carry those words for a long time.
Long time,
For a
forever.
long time.
Mhm.
And so that's why I said, you know, you broke in yourself and you see your sister doing well and all those things or whatever, you know, and it's just not cool like that. It's just
That's
not cool
right.
like that. So definitely start thinking the best of her.
Mhm.
Also, the next thing I had put down is to nurture her wounds, nurturing her wounds. And what I mean by that is a lot of us sisters are dealing with a lot of open wounds. Some
Mhm.
wounds are current and some wounds have been for the past decade or so. And there's a
That's
lot of
right.
sisters who are still walking around wounded.
Mhm.
Okay. And, you know, they eventually start to, you know, open up and speak, you know, their concerns or their hurts or what have you. And they just sometimes want to have somebody just to vent
To
to, or just
open
be
up
that,
to.
you know, just to listen or what have you. Once they have said what they need to say, just nurture her and say, sis, listen, you know, I can't say I know what you're going through, but I understand the hurt, because,
Mhm.
you know, hurt is hurt. And
Yep.
it's, you know, it happens in different levels, different situations. But what I can tell you is this: what I see before me, I see a woman that is resilient and a woman that is strong. You
Mm.
see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's when you start putting that ointment on that wound.
Mhm.
Your words is ointment to the soul.
That's right.
Okay? And we have to be mindful of that, because there's too much of this catty crap going on in our
Mhm.
community as it is right now.
That's
And
right.
so, like I said yesterday, well, the other day when we was on live, I said, if you want things to change, you have to be the one to change.
Mhm.
You got to be like Michael Jackson's song "Man in the Mirror." You got to be that person to change first. So it starts with you. But nurture her wounds, just like you want somebody to nurture you when you're not,
Mhm.
you know, when you down or you hurting or whatever. You know, if you got your mother is always the nurturer, right? Mama always come in and she nurtures you and tell you something that, you know, that makes you feel, you know, makes you feel at ease for the
Yep.
moment or whatever. but more importantly, it's God's word that will nurture you more than anything.
That's right.
That's the first thing definitely we need to go to is God's word, because God's word is a healing ointment for the soul and for the spirit. And the third thing is, and I was debating, stop being the paparazzi. And what I mean by that is that, you know how the paparazzis are. You see it all the time with celebrities. You know, they right there taking pictures and all that stuff. Your face. And even if you don't want the paparazzi, you know, around you, they find you some way, somehow. They find your location. They find your little secret spots and all that stuff. And once they find it, what do? They put it on the tabloids. And they go ahead and start, saying stuff that may not even be true or accurate.
That's right.
So likewise, we as sisters, we need to stop being that paparazzi and finding that weak spot of that sister, and then go ahead and broadcast her stuff out into the public. And you don't even know, what that daughter is doing, what that sister's doing. You don't know why she's with that man. You don't know why she's at the hospital. You don't know why, she lost her job.
You don't know. And you don't care to ask either.
Exactly.
And when you're thinking of the paparazzi, like, they're going to take the worst angle, the worst picture, and show that. They're not going to show you the best of you. And like you said, we got to stop talking to each other or about each other in such a poor and in such a bad light. Because we are looking like we're the paparazzi, and that we're gossiping and we're just putting each other down. Always try to look at the best of that woman, the best of that person. It's important.
All the time. Yeah, absolutely. So those basically are my three. I mean, I have more, but just for the sake of time, I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, because I just want you ladies to really start to think about what we just put down for you all. Because this is just a starting point. This is a day-by-day process for all of us to really heal and to really start making some changes to make our community, the sisterhood community, better.
That's right. All day, every day. And it's very important. This is, we will do like a part 2 in the next upcoming months to this topic, because we're going to do a lot more research. We're going to bring some more panelists on to talk about this, because we have to do better.
Absolutely.
We want the world to look at us in a great light, and to be considered and to be chosen in certain spaces. We got to do better with each other. We just have to. It's so very much so important. And it starts with us as individuals. It starts with us, and how we feel about ourselves is what we're going to project out there into the universe. So I'm so excited to kick this off as our very first conversation of 2021. We're going to come back again next week, y'all. We're going to keep on talking about this and getting this out there to the world. We're going to have another awesome topic. If you ever want to be on our panels or what have you, just email us at sisterconnection@gmail.com. We have so much stuff coming up. We have a YouTube channel coming out. We have a podcast. We have a Instagram page. We got so much stuff in the works right now. But we wanted to come to you guys today to give you this great topic. So, Tawanta, anything else you would like to add, sis?
No, I'm just excited that, we are starting this out strong. And, we're going to continue on, God willing, to keep this momentum going.
We will.
And really, make a change. And it starts with us, and it starts with you all. So, yeah, I'm excited.
And thank you guys for engaging in the chat. Y'all was definitely putting in some awesome points. And we understand sometimes, being the fact that Tawanta and I talk about some deep topics, y'all catch us in the DMs, and that's all great. That's all great. We definitely want y'all to talk and chat here. So we're gonna close out tonight's show. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. And just love on each other, love on yourself, and that's so important. So see you guys next time. Bye, guys. Thank you for tuning in.